Welcome back to the cave. I'm Cam Stokes, and next to me, Kira Foley, and we're here with Mishawaka Volleyball. Welcome back to the cave. I'm Cam Stokes.
And I'm Kira Foley.
And we're here to bring you Mishawaka Varsity Volleyball versus John Glenn. And first, we're going to get the Commissioner's Corner.
It's time for the Commissioner's Corner, an exclusive weekly conversation about Indiana high school sports with the Commissioner of the IHSAA, Paul Neidig. Now for an up-to-the-minute report about what's happening in the constantly changing world of high school sports. Here's Coach Bob Lovell with Commissioner Paul Neidig.
Welcome back, everyone, to our weekly conversation with the Commissioner of the IHSAA. This week, we're honored to have Robert Falcons, Assistant Commissioner, the IHSAA. One of his primary responsibilities is to direct the football championships. And Robert, thanks for taking time. Congratulations to everybody on a great first week last Friday.
Absolutely. It's always fun. People get excited about that first week of football, and to the credit of everyone around the state of Indiana, we had a great first week.
I think people would be curious, how many teams compete in football in our state?
We have 317 teams that compete in the tournament.
317 teams. How many kids?
Oh boy, that's we're about 18,000. I think that's the number, about 18,000. It's one of the larger sports that we have with respect to participation.
That's interesting. I'm not so sure nationwide that the numbers are going up. We're led to believe that numbers are leveling off or going down in football, so that's encouraging for the state of Indiana.
Absolutely. We a few years ago with the concussion and then COVID, we had a dip in participation that's come up. It's leveling off. It's getting back to where it was prior to those two instances, and our coaches are doing a great job. Kids are coming out. They're having fun, and of course the play is so good now.
The play is so good, and the other thing that I think people have to understand and recognize is that it's one of the more galvanizing activities for a community and a school system is those Friday night lights types of situations where pre-game, post-game, all the things that are going on. It's an event everywhere around the state.
Absolutely. I was at a game on Friday night. They've got the band going on. They've got food trucks, there's barbecue, there's tailgating. If you said it correctly, it is a community event. It's one that galvanizes the entire community on both sides, home and visitors, and it's a great way to start the school year.
I think in my conversations with Paul Condry and others who are knowledgeable of high school football in our state, the consensus seems to be that this is, in all six classes, there seems to be no clear-cut favorite going into the start, that it may be as wide open as we've seen in years.
Yes, sir. And again, that has a lot to do with how well our coaches prepare our kids, how they coach them and make them ready to play. Again, football is really, really good across all classes, across all locales, and everybody has a chance to win, which is the beautiful thing in Indiana.
Robert Falcons joining us. We're talking about high school football. All right, week number 2, all the coaches, all the experts tell you that the greatest amount of progress is from week 1 to week 2. Why do we think that is?
Well, because in that first week we see a lot of jitters. At the game that I went to on Friday, they had 17 kids starting out of 22 positions that had never played a down of varsity football. So that learning curve was going to be pretty steep in that game, and you could see it. But between week 1 and week 2, coaches go back and address those issues that they saw in game 1, perfect them, and then that result during week 2. It's phenomenal change, and that's if you're a coach, you're happy with it. If you're a fan, you're happy. If you're a player, you're really satisfied that you can apply what you've been taught and learned and make some plays in the right times.
Week number 2, some great matchups across the state. I know you and the staff, your colleagues are out throughout the week, and we don't want to slight the other fall sports. It's a very busy time for everybody around the state in high school athletics.
Absolutely, and Friday is normally the day that everything else is put on hold for football, and it garners a lot of attention. You got the band. It is a huge, you said it before, it's a huge community event, and everyone wants to participate. We put on a good show. The band does a great job. The cheerleaders are phenomenal. It is, like you said, it's a great experience, and certainly one that people certainly enjoy.
Week number 2 of high school football coming up. Robert Falcons from the IHSAA. Robert, thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Be safe on the highways this weekend.
Yes, sir. You do the same. We'll see you out.
Thanks for listening to the Commissioner's Corner with IHSAA Commissioner Paul Neidig and Coach Bob Lovell. And thank you for your continued support of the high schools in your community.
Few things to talk about, as the last game we weren't quite able to get into everything we wanted to talk about. Mishawaka this season is doing exceptionally well. We're already 22 in the state, when last year they ended 44 in the state. So we're already looking at improvement. Last game, Mishawaka fell to the Elkhart Lions, and Kira has a few notes from Miranda about it.
Yeah, so the coach was definitely disappointed in the loss, but she said that the practice afterwards, they went together as a team. They tried to work things out. They got a new mindset, and now they're hoping to come into this game more positive, more friendly. They're definitely working on communication and just being a team and all that chemistry. And they're really hoping to do well against the John Glenn team. And they're saying they're looking for John Glenn's going to be more, I think, offensive, especially since they've had a pretty good season and they're very confident right now. So they're definitely going to come hard, and Mishawaka has to be ready to come back against that.
Yeah, definitely. I know we talked to the John Glenn coach, and while they have 6 seniors, and not all of them are starting, but their team isn't very cohesive, and that's definitely a goal for them tonight, is to play cohesively.
Yeah, John Glenn, we talked with them before the game, and obviously they have 6 seniors, but a lot of their starters are younger players. And I know one of their players that is starting, Vivian, is planning on looking at colleges. She's their number 1. She's looking at colleges, which is a good sign. It shows she's a good player. And really, the coach said they were looking for more cohesiveness. And they're obviously, she said they're building their program still. So they're hoping that playing against teams that are further developed, like our Mishawaka Cavemen, will help them to improve. They've had 1 loss this season, so they haven't been undefeated, but they still have been very successful.
Yeah, very similar to the Cavemen. I believe we've had 2 losses, one of them being at the West Noble this past weekend, and then one of them, as I said, they lost to the Elkhart Lions. It's definitely quite a bit of loss there for the Cavemen, especially so far into the season, but I think Coach Miranda has them under control.
Yeah, I do too. I think she's really has a close relationship with her girls and
Absolutely.
knows how to help them and how they can help her.
Yeah, I've talked about it quite a bit, especially compared to Coach Anderson, who's here before Coach Miranda. This is her 2nd season with the Cavemen. Just looking at statistics, the Cavemen last year has done better in the state and in the NLC altogether than they did with Coach Anderson, which is definitely interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think the switch in coaching definitely contributed to their overall progress so far through these past couple of years.
You know, we've talked about it. Coach Adams does coach at NEVA, a local volleyball program around here, and her daughter Ellie Adams is one of the starters for the Cavemen. It definitely helped her build a lot of just strong connections with the Cavemen, especially throughout the years. And we've noticed it a lot so far this season. Like we said, she was able to connect on that personal level with the girls last practice and hopefully get some of that communication under control.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, totally.
Well, do we have any other notes? So, we're getting excited about tonight's game.
Yeah, it looks like the girls are getting hyped up. That's
definitely
all I have with notes so far, but right now they're warming up and we're looking at get started in about 2 minutes. Or no,
2 minutes for Glenn to finish her serving, and then Mishawaka can get on the court, and they're going to have another 2 minutes for serving.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, speaking of getting excited, we talked about it earlier. There's quite a few football players here. The football team has a big game this weekend. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Yes, this weekend is the backyard brawl, Mishawaka versus Penn. It's going to be at Penn this year. And this whole school is getting hyped up.
Absolutely.
We're ready to face our rivals.
Yeah, on Tuesday, the athletics department with Mishawaka and Penn had a competition with Culver's. Did you know anything about that?
Yeah, I think I remember there was, whichever school had the most students come and buy food at Culver's won.
Yeah, it was a give back night. So Mishawaka had Tuesday from, I believe, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I might be totally wrong on that. Fans, correct me if I am. But they had 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock to go and buy food. And then Penn had a similar experience on a different day. I honestly couldn't tell you what day that was. And whoever made the most money during that give back was able to get $1,000 back towards their athletic department. So that's definitely a great opportunity for the Cavemen and the Kingsmen.
Yeah, that'll go a long way.
Yeah, we talk about the Kingsmen. Next home game is a match against the Cavemen. Backyard brawl here in the cave with the volleyball team. And it is a special night. Kira, we talked about it a little bit. We're getting excited for it. Do you want to explain to the fans what that is?
Yeah, it's the... Sorry, my mind's blinking right now. Do you want to say what the name is?
Yeah, the Dig for Pink Night.
That's what it is.
So all the cave, you'll see everyone in the cave here, especially on the Cavemen, they're all going to be in pink. It's to raise money towards breast cancer awareness. And a lot of the tributes go towards a local breast cancer awareness center.
I don't know about other people, but we are definitely planning on wearing pink that day
absolutely.
For the broadcast.
I don't know about you, Kira, but pink's my favorite color, so I definitely got excited when I heard about that one.
Yeah, I'm not as big of a fan of pink, so I think I'll have to dig through my closet a bit, but I should be able to find something.
Yeah. We got a lot of school pride, and especially when it comes to the broadcast, I love showing that. Even though we're not supposed to be biased, I'm a little biased towards the Cavemen.
Yes.
I'm third generation. No, my mom didn't go here, but my brother went here, and so did my grandparents before that. Caveman is running in my blood. I got maroon through and out. I'm definitely excited. I got a little bit of that bias there.
Yeah, I'm not as connected to the school, but my mom does teach here, so.
Yeah, Mrs. Foley, gotta love her.
Yes.
Shout out Kira's mom, Miss Foley. I personally haven't had her as a teacher, but I know a lot of our network crew has. Mr. Rendell, our teacher, he was taught by Miss Foley when he is here.
No, I don't want to call her out, but she has taught a lot of the teachers that teach here.
Yeah, I believe Rendell graduated in, I want to say 2005. He graduated in 2005.
2007.
Way before I was born. I don't know, but Kira, you're younger than I am.
Yeah, way before I was born.
We're all having a laugh up here at Mishawaka Network. We have 6 minutes until the Cavemen and the Falcons take the court.
We'll keep you updated here.
Definitely. We're going to go and we're going to run a few ad breaks just to give my voice a break, give Kira's voice a break, and we'll be back with the Mishawaka Network shortly.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
All right, Caveman fans, welcome back to the Cave. We have 3 minutes left in the Lady Caveman serving. And Cam, I know we were talking over the break about the fine arts.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the fine arts program right now. I know myself as well as a few other people here in our team are part of that fine arts program. First biggest thing, we had callbacks today for the fall play. I know personally I was not in there because, you know, during volleyball and football season, I get a lot of stuff to do. I get quite busy, you know, with network things. But Max Dubé, one of our employees, is, I know he auditioned for it. I guess we'll see if he gets in. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Max. Shout out to you. Hopefully you're listening right now. I doubt you are. And then the other thing we got going on is that show choir, well, I guess not just show choir, but all the choirs right now are participating in the mums sale. We are selling Varner's mums. I know it's a very popular one here.
Yeah, I know
done it?
a bunch of students that have been haggling teachers to buy from them and fighting over buyers.
Absolutely one of them. Show choir got our slips first before anybody else, which I'm a show choir member. There's only 10 of us this year. There's 10 of us this year, which is more than normal. But
so you guys got a head start on the competition.
I immediately emailed every single teacher I know, including Mr. Rundle over here. And
right now you're getting a view of the football field currently. The freshman team are playing Marion right now.
Yeah, just a really quick wrap up my thought. If you know any fine arts members, specifically choir, let them know that you would like to buy a Varner's mom. Yeah, like Kira said, right now on the screen you're seeing the freshman football game against Marion, Mishawaka Marion. It seems that the Knights are currently losing to the Cavemen. I believe I said 7-20. I don't know.
Hopefully the Cavemen will be able to pull through with a victory tonight.
Hopefully. Good luck. And yeah, good luck to all the Cavemen playing tonight. I know it is the freshman team, but we still got to give them just as much love as Varsity.
Definitely.
I know they're getting excited for the game. We're getting excited for the game. Speaking of the game, we have 35 seconds until the Cavemen take on the Falcons in this varsity matchup tonight. Kira, I gotta ask again, are we getting excited?
I am. It's really exciting. This is only the second game they've had this season in the Cave. I know it may not seem like it would make a difference, but it really does. Just the atmosphere and being home and having your fans right there to just cheer you on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I know we talked a lot about what the coaches are looking to see. Kira, real fast, so we got a few seconds. What are you looking to see tonight?
I'm looking to see a lot of positive interaction between the players. Obviously, the sport's supposed to have fun. Winning is definitely a good thing, too. But I'm hoping we can be on our game and really attack those, the John Glenn team.
Yeah.
Not be intimidated by them.
Yeah, the Falcons are definitely going to be a matchup for us tonight. but I know up here we got it. It's a pretty fast-paced game, but we got it. And for the lineups tonight, Kira, we talked to the Glenn and Mishawaka coach. I know we weren't quite able to get some starting lineups, so I'm going to go ahead and do John Glenn's starting lineups as we go through, and then Kira, I'm going to hand it off to you, and we can do Mishawaka's.
All right.
We're going to hit a quick commercial break before all that, and we're going to get ready for the game.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903. Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Caveman fans, welcome back to the Cave, where this varsity matchup versus Mishawaka versus John Glenn is starting right now. I'm going to put a little bit of a disclaimer out there for any of the fans who might get a little confused. Number 8, 9, and 10, sorry, number 7, 8, and 9 all have the same last name of Miller. Two of them are sisters. One of them is not related.
Yes, Kirkland Miller and Kennedy Miller are sisters. Shelby Miller is not a relation.
Yes. So I'm going to try my best as your play-by-play commentator to say their first names and not a last name. If I make a mistake, I am sorry. And we're just all going to try this together.
Yeah, looks like the game's getting underway. Cavemen and John Glenn are getting set up.
Yeah, right now for the Cavemen, we have Cassie Creech, Soren Scolati, Elliot Adams, Amelia Amos, Megan Barthel, and Alex Lowry on the court. Libero, Andy Shields getting ready to take over. And we'll see what happens. Kira, are we ready? We're getting excited?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Looks like this game is going to begin. Alex Lowry serving first for the Cavemen, and Andy Shields coming in for Megan Barthel. Speaking of Megan Barthel, the youngest girl on the varsity team.
Yeah, definitely. It's an older team we have, definitely. But
Absolutely. Lowry with the serve received by Glenn. Number 7 bringing it over and stops by the Caveman wall of Cassie Creech and Soren Scolati. The Cavemen getting their first point on the board.
as always, that wall is pretty unbreakable for the Cavemen.
You know, I referred to them, to that duo specifically for the last couple of years as Caveman Wall. Seems that nothing can get past it. Lowry with her second serve, received by Adams, just barely. Cassie bringing the ball over to Ellie Adams. A touch and out. The Falcons were not able to make anything happen there.
Powerful hit by Adams. There was great communication by the girls there.
Definitely. You could definitely tell the Falcons tried to get that and just weren't quite able to. Lowry serving for the third time. Maybe getting another point for the Cavemen. Hopefully get another point for the Cavemen. Received by number 1. So 14 attempting to bring it over and not quite able to. Shields very messily getting that ball. Adams bringing the ball over with a tip. And getting a point for the Cavemen. Looks like it was just inside that white line.
Yeah, Adams was able to find that spot really well.
Yeah. No, I've talked about that quite a few times. Well, yeah, quite a few times this season. Cavemen play very smartly.
Oh.
Lowry not quite able to get in that fourth point there, hitting the net as the ball will turn over to number 14.
She got a good 3 points for the Cavemen there, but got to work on consistency with their serves.
Definitely. Mannering with the serve for the Falcons, just scraping that net.
Yeah, it looked like it just
the ball
clipped it.
Coming over. They're going to call that a Falcons point. And out of bounds. Mannering with her second serve for the night. Creech sending the ball up for Alyssa Scolati with the kill and able to get it with 14. Number 8 bringing it over. Making it over the wall. Oh! So close. Shields just running for that ball and just wasn't quite able to get there.
Yeah, it was a bit of a sloppy receive. Shields really dived for it, but she just wasn't able to get there in time. I know you could hear her skin on the court. She was determined to get that ball.
Creech setting the ball up for Scolati. Barely received by Glenn's Libero. Adams just tipping that ball over and bringing it right back to the Cavemen. 14 able to get under that ball, and Scolati blocking the ball and getting another point for the Cavemen.
Yeah, a lot of tipping back and forth there.
Yeah. You know, sometimes it's just what you got to do to get there. And as you can see, it worked for the Cavemen.
Yeah, especially with Scolati up there at the net with her height.
Absolutely. Creech setting the ball for the Cavemen. One of the stronger servers for the Cavemen. Number 14 setting the ball up for 7. Almost out of bounds. Shields going after the ball, not able to get there. almost touched it. She was so close.
Shields again determined to get that ball.
It's that determination that gets her for the Cavemen.
Yeah, there was a second sloppy receive.
But it's definitely that determination that gets that ball there. Number 8 from Glenn to receive. It looks like a floater. Adams bringing the ball over and received by number 14. Just barely number 9 bringing it over. Creech setting the ball up for Amos. Blocked by the Falcons. The Falcons are now up by 1 point.
Yeah, it looks like Cavemen might be getting a little rattled here,
Just a little bit.
especially after the loss against Elkhart last game.
Number 8 was my favorite kind of serve there. Amos, a little too much power. I know she was looking just to get that ball out of the way. Wasn't quite able to do that.
That was an impressive serve receive, though. That just barely caught the net, and it looked like it was going down, but they were able to save it in time.
Which is why it's my favorite serve. You never know what's going to happen. Number 8 was another serve. Creech bringing the ball up for Adams. A little too much up there and was able to be received.
Andy Shields
sending
just
that right into the bench.
just not quite able to get under that ball, and it went flying.
Number 8 with another serve. We need to keep a serve counter for this girl. And it looks like the libero, number 2, Trinity Stackman, tried to get there, but just wasn't quite able to get there.
Now the Cavemen have the serve back, which is a good thing because their number 8 had some very powerful serves. We were struggling to receive those.
But speaking of the Cavemen serve, we have Cal Simon, a classmate of mine, with her first serve. Cal's the jump serve. Almost blocked by the Cavemen.
Wall was there, but they were just weren't able to reflect it over the net.
Yeah. Words getting stuck in my mouth a little bit, Kira. Number 7 with her first serve.
And it's out.
And out of bounds, the Cavemen will get the ball back. Adams serving for Mishawaka. Another very strong server for Mishawaka.
Definitely.
Glenn receiving that ball nice and easy. Wow, that was an impressive play from Glenn. Setter number 9, I believe that was.
Tuck and roll by Steinman trying to get that ball.
Yeah, but Glenn just pulling the ball out of the net enough for a hitter to bring it over.
It was an impressive dump by the Eagles.
Adams is not very happy about that play. Coach Adams is not. A little bit of a messy serve there from the Falcons, so the Cavemen are recovering.
Oh.
It looks like she might have hit that ball with her arm instead of her hand there.
Yeah, it got off to a rocky start. They just weren't quite able to recover after that. Hopefully they'll be able to get this next point.
As long as that Caveman can keep that energy up. Adams receiving the ball. Creech bringing it up for Amos. Going for the kill and getting the point. It fell right in front of number 10, McKinley Klatz.
Amos, that was a killer hit.
Absolutely. Amelia, another classmate of mine. And Addison Keene coming into the game for Amos. Serving for the Cavemen. Received by number 4. Went out of bounds, but is able to be saved. Creech dumping the ball, but able to be caught. And the Cavemen wall, Creech and Barthel able to stop that ball from coming over. Coach Adams just getting in there and telling Megan how she can fix her posture. Sometimes form is everything.
Yeah, and Randa definitely is a very hands-on coach with the girls, making sure to give them advice throughout playing time.
Absolutely. Number 8 bringing that ball over to the Cavemen. Creech going to bring it up for Lowry. That ball going right through Lowry's hands. Barthel bringing the ball over and out of bounds. We're going to call it a point for the Falcons. The Falcons are now up by 3 points. Sorry, 5 points. My math, I saw that. I was like, no, that's not right. Sorry, Mr. Scheiko. My math isn't great. Ellie Adams with a back row hit there from the Cavemen. Number 8 going and bringing that ball over. Adams hitting the ball and shaking it. I think if she would have just let that one go, it would have gone out of bounds.
It might have.
Unfortunately, it's a little hard to tell when you're on the court. It's a lot easier to tell up here.
I want to talk a little more about that back row hit. I know that spiking the ball is really hard to get enough power on it, but then when you're starting all the way from the back, it's even harder to be able to get it over to the other side of the court. It takes a lot of power.
Yeah, well, we have a second with the timeout. We are going to play a quick ad and bring it over to our sponsors.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Welcome back to the Cave. A timeout just ended. This is the first set. The Cavemen down by 6 points. Hopefully the Cavemen can bring it back.
Yeah, I think during that timeout, Coach Randa was definitely talking to them about keeping morale up and making sure not to get too defeated.
Yeah, Lowry sending that ball over to the Falcons. The Falcons able to recover. Sending it all the way to Adams in the back row. Lowry's the ball again, but blocked. And it looks like Keene trying to save that ball, but unfortunately he's not able to.
Yeah, when it goes in that net, it's super hard to recover from that.
Instead of calling it out of bounds, which it was most definitely out of bounds, the refs called it in the net, which the Cavemen were also in the net. Those two, between the two, the Cavemen weren't getting the point.
Yeah,
there.
ultimately it's the refs' call.
Yeah, and there is another point for the Falcons. Cavemen getting the touch, just not quite able to get it.
Yeah, it's not going to Cavemen's favor here, but they really are trying. They're putting a lot of effort into it. That was a pretty impressive dive from Keene.
They just
really
have to
determined.
make sure they keep that morale up. Glenn with the serve, very strong there. Adams barely catching out with the set. Number 10 setting it up for 14. Almost blocked by the Cavemen. The Cavemen are able to get it under control. Bring it back. Trying to get it back over, but right into the net. It seems that that's a little bit of an issue for the Cavemen tonight.
Yeah, Lowry's normally a very consistent hitter, too.
Yeah, instead of getting it over the net, they're getting it in the net.
Looks like Lowry's coming out and Ford's coming on. Let's hope the Cavemen can get a little more consistent and clean up a bit of their form.
Sometimes you just need a little mix-up to get it back. With number 1, Vivian Stevens, also into the net with that serve.
Which is surprising because she was one of their more impressive players that the coach pointed out to us before the game. She's actually looking at colleges for volleyball.
Which, Kira, did you know only 2% of volleyball players get a scholarship to go play in college?
I did not know that.
It's very hard.
I know I wouldn't be able to do it.
No, me neither. They came in blocking that ball, and they're going to get the point. The Falcons had a 4 touch. Which, for the fans who don't know what that is, it is pretty self-explanatory. It's when the other team hits it 4 times. Just can't do that in volleyball. We all wish we could.
Yes.
Shields with her second serve. Bring it over to the Falcons receive, but looks like it's going to be shanked, not quite there. Number 8 decided bringing it over and out of bounds. Kamen getting a point.
Shields is definitely another really strong server, but stronger in particular because she gets that ball really low down and close to the net, which the other team just isn't anticipating since most serves go over.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about typically liberos are very good servers. Kamen keeping that ball under control of Adams, hitting it but not quite doing anything with it. Keene with a receive for Creech. Adams again going for that back row hit. And able to get the point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen shrink that lead by 5.
Yeah, Adams found that spot and they hit it once again. They're very consistent with being able to find points on the court where no one's there and they can just hit them.
Yeah, absolutely. They play smart. The Cavemen able to block that ball, giving the ball right back to Glenn. Adams get him under there. Ford's gonna bring it over, and it almost gets the point. And there you go, Caveman gets the point. It was really, I did not think she was gonna get under that ball.
I didn't either. Looks like Shields is gonna be getting another serve, hopefully another point for the Cavemen.
A strong hit there.
It's like they struggled receiving that.
Absolutely. A little bit of miscommunication there. And Scolati bringing the ball over nice and hard, but unfortunately, Shields shanking the ball, but Ford being able to pick it up. Creech sending it over. The Falcons take it back over and getting the Cavemen a point.
Definitely
able to bring it over there.
Yeah, definitely very satisfying point for the Cavemen, especially after that risky serve, risky receive, and they're just able to get it over the net, and then they're able to do.
Yeah, and there's a timeout for the Falcons. We are going to go over to an ad break, and we'll be back in a few.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
All right, welcome back to the Cave. If you're just joining us, the Mishawaka Cavemen are playing the John Glenn Eagles. The score is currently 13-16, Mishawaka down by 3, but we have the serve, and Andy Shields is serving.
Which the John Glenn Falcons, Strongberg here.
What?
Right,
Not bad.
Right mammal. Well,
Yeah.
birds aren't mammals.
They both fly.
Yeah, they all fly. They all do it. Again, I feel bad for my science teacher.
Yes.
All right, Shields with another serve. Caveman trailing by 2, looking to get that lead back. Oh, right into the top of the net, but Glenn was able to save it. Creech setting the ball up for it looks like it's going to be a strong one from Ford. A little bit of miscommunication, but the Falcons were able to get it. Creech again setting the ball up for Ford. I don't think Creech knew who she's going to send it to. Adams, nice receive. Just brought gently over. Number 8 going for the kill. And getting the point for the Cavemen. That was a gentle tip there.
Looks like Keene might have gotten in the way of Adams there.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Sometimes you just don't quite hear that communication.
Disappointing loss of serve. Andy Shields is on a roll there. We should have been keeping tally, but now John Glenn.
Creech setting the ball up for Scolati.
It looks like if John Glenn had let that go, it would have gone out, but they decided to play it, and it ended up going into the roof.
Yeah, I did notice the hoops aren't quite up all the way. That's a little odd.
Especially since the ball can get pretty high playing.
Yeah. Ford with the serve into the net, unfortunately just wasn't quite able to get up there. I think if it might have even had a little bit more power behind that, it could have gone over.
Maybe.
Number 14, Addie Mannering. Keene with the receive. Creech sending the ball up for Adams, looking for the kill, but not quite able to get up. Adams bringing the ball back over to the Falcons and getting the point. The Cavemen are down just by 1, closing that follow just even more and more. Creech going back to the server's position.
Looks like Amos is coming in from Keene. I wanted to talk about that last point. Creech had a very impressive save. Of course, Scolati had a really good dump, but Cassie really made that point.
Absolutely. Number 7. Oh, shanked by Shields and sent way out of bounds.
Looks like the Cavemen have been struggling a little more than normal with receiving tonight, making sure to get under that ball and get it under control so that they can set themselves up for a good point.
Received by Shields. Creech setting it up for Amos into the net.
That's another net by Amos. All right, looks like John Glenn is serving, number 4. Good receive, set by Creech, and a powerful hit by Adams. Creech setting it up again for Scalati, and she dumps it right in there where no one was.
Scalati's definitely a smart player. You know, she's able to get into that hole, find those holes. Thanks for taking over for me, Kira.
Speaking of Scalati, she just went out and Steinman came in for her.
Barthel also subbing with Shields. Cal sending that ball just slightly out of bounds.
Yeah, they're going to call that out and point to John Glenn. Scores currently 17-21. Mishawaka down by 4. And it looks like a timeout's going to be called.
All right, and with that timeout, we are going to go and hear from some of our sponsors.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Welcome back to the cave. You just heard from our sponsor, Forte Waterproofing. Forte Waterproofing, thank you for everything that you do. I know, not to glaze, but it is a very good company. We had them come out to my house. I know Mr. Rendell had them go out to their house, and we had the owner of Forte's Waterproofing come out to our house and actually look, and got all of it done within, I think, about a week.
Wow, yeah, I've heard really good things for them, and we
Yeah.
definitely appreciate their sponsor.
We're able to squeeze this in right in the morning. They're definitely a great company, and I recommend going to them for any of your waterproofing needs. The Falcons taking that ball back over to the Cavemen. Steinman able to just save that there. Adams going for the kill and sending it right out of bounds. It looks like her hand was just a little twisted there. She could have just aimed her hand slightly to the side. She would have been good.
Yeah, disappointing hit.
You know, Kira, I always laugh. When I talk, I speak with my hands, especially when I'm talking about things like that. I'm using my hands to demonstrate, and then I realize you guys can't see me. It probably would make a lot more sense if you guys could see me. But blocked by Megan Barthel and Ellie Adams. Cavemen get the point.
That was a hit right on the line.
Yeah, the Cavemen still trailing by 4, looking to get that back.
Yeah, luckily it's our serve, but John Glenn is 3 points away from winning this set.
Which Adams, you know, we talked about Cassie Creech being one of our stronger servers. Adams has an even higher serve percentage than Creech does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's made the team all 4 years.
Absolutely.
Definitely impressive player.
Creech setting the ball up for, I don't think they knew they were going to set that up for.
No.
Ford ended up going for it, but wasn't quite able to get there.
Yeah, it looked like a desperate attempt by Ford to try and save the ball after a bit of a miscommunication there.
Yeah.
Looks like Coach Adams isn't very happy with that.
No, which, speaking of miscommunication, we just had a little bit of miscommunication there. Daniel Phillips coming up behind us with a camera. I wasn't quite sure what was happening there. Number 4 setting the ball up for 1. Stevens. Creech setting the ball up for 4, going for the kill. And 10 able to get right under that ball. Ellie Adams setting the ball up for, looks like, Ford. Close save by number 1, Stevens. Creech again, save there. Falcons trying to tip that ball over. It's a little too much power. Sending the ball out and getting the Cavemen a point.
That was a very impressive point all around.
Cavemen still down by 4.
Hopefully they'll be able to close the gap.
It seems that every single time the Cavemen get a step forward, they take 3 steps back.
let's see how they do, especially under this much pressure with John Glenn only 2 points away from winning the set.
Yeah. Creed sending that ball right back over to the Falcons, right back where it came from. Number 1 trying to do something with that ball and sending it into the net. They came in getting a point.
It's now 20-23. Let's see how Keene can handle this serve, especially with all the pressure.
Keene's a strong server, but not very consistent. So
Yes.
hopefully her consistency does come out here. 14 receiving the ball and sending the ball back over to the Cavemen.
Looks like 2 people tried to set the ball up.
Yeah. A little miscommunication there. Adams touching the ball and sending it out of bounds. That is a set point. We have 1 more point until the Falcons win. Hopefully the Cavemen can get it together a little bit. They need 5 points to win the set.
Yeah, the first set is always crucial because it sets the tone for the rest of the game. And into the net by Vivian Stevens.
Yeah, it's bringing that score closer and closer together. The Cavemen out 21, the Falcons at 24.
Looks like they're bringing in Shields to serve. A smart decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another one of her famous close to the net serves.
Yeah, number 6. Cavemen trying to get for that ball. Oh, so close to making something happen. And that is the end of set number 1. The score is 21-25. The Falcons winning.
It looks like everyone is unscathed from that.
Yeah, there's a little excitement there. So I was trying to see if the rest were going to call anything.
A lot of people throwing themselves at the ball there, but it looks like
Yeah.
everything's all right, and we're regrouping for the second set.
Yeah, well, we have 3 minutes in between sets. We're going to go to an ad break and hear from some of our sponsors.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
And welcome back to the Cave. The first set just ended where the Cavemen took the loss there. The Falcons coming up victorious. Hopefully the Cavemen are in their huddle, regrouping, and are going to come back strong.
Yeah, I really think mindset's going to be super important for the Cavemen here because their last game against Elkhart, as you know, they lost. And we're talking to the coach, and it sounds like there was a big hit to their morale and overall team positivity. And that's what she said they're really trying to work on today. But it's especially hard when in the first set you lose because it really sets the tone for the rest of the game. So now coming into the second set, they really do have to work on thinking positive and being kind and active towards each other.
Yeah, it looked like their morale still was down a little bit from that game the other day. Hopefully the Cavemen can get their morale back up. I know when the Cavemen get their energy up and they get excited and they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But when they are like this, they're not as excited. Their energy is down. We don't see as much.
And it should help that they're in the cave with a bunch of their fans surrounding them. Their JV team is cheering them on from the sidelines like always, doing a great job.
We got a bunch of the football team here supporting them, just as they'll go to Penn and support them tomorrow.
Teams supporting teams.
Absolutely. You know, as someone who does a lot of talking, especially on air, sometimes you just cannot get words out of your mouth.
Looks like Cassie, Creech, Scalati, and Barthel are talking here.
Yeah, Barthel's over there in the back corner. But Amos is definitely in there.
Oh, sorry, Amos. Yeah, Amos, yes.
Yeah, she's in there talking to the group. They're trying to figure out, looks like they're trying to figure out how they can do better. Scalati going and communicating with Adams and Lowry.
Looks like there's a lot of frustration on the court, and they're trying to figure it out, but like Coach Adams said, they really need to be figuring this out in a very positive and proactive way, and it looks like they're trying to sort themselves out and regroup for the second set.
Yeah, hopefully they can get there. Number 14, Addie Mannering, serving for their first set. Creech blocking the ball but not able quite to do it. I'm surprised they didn't call that a two-touch there.
Yeah, looks like a double touch, but
yeah, out of bounds for the Cavemen. I think when she jumped up, it might have hit the Falcons' hands. I know from here it didn't look like it, but the refs didn't notice it. Creech setting the ball up for Adams with a very powerful hit there. Lowry shaking the ball, sending it way out of bounds.
I think especially in this game, Mishawaka struggled a bit more with the receiving of the ball than they normally have, and that might be due to the fact that John Glenn's had a pretty successful season, and as a result are coming in hard and very offensive.
Yeah, which coming in hard, we weren't quite able to do that there.
We need to make sure that for the Cavemen, it'll be important to look at meeting that determination with some of their own in order to put up a good fight against.
Yeah, absolutely. Scoring Scalati getting their point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen now tying up with the Falcons.
JV team cheering them on from the side.
Both Miss Mans over there, Miss Man and Dr. Man over there sitting on the sidelines. Look at them supporting the team. Amos serving, I believe, her first time tonight. Received by the Falcons, brought over by number 7, but blocked by Scalati. There's the Caven's third touch, bringing that over. Shields diving for the ball, not quite able to get there. Again, as long as they have that determination, they can get there. The Cavens just have to keep that determination up.
Yeah, it was definitely a disappointing point, but they did have a good recovery.
Yeah.
In the middle of that point.
Like I said, when the Cavemen try and they get their energy up, they are 100% there. They are getting the point. But when they're like they are right now, energy's down a little bit. And the ball going heading back over to the Cavemen. A lot happening there.
Ooh, good spot by Creech.
Addie Mannering looks like, is she hurt? No, she's all good. Looks like she was limping a little bit there when she got up.
Yeah, Creech saw that spot and she just immediately knew to dump it in there.
Yeah, speaking of Creech, she is serving for her first time in the second set. Received by number 4, brought up by 14. Number 1, quite powerful there. Adams going for the ball, but bringing it out of bounds, hitting it over to actually Cassie Creech's family.
Another unsuccessful receive by the Cavemen. Looks like Coach Adams is instructing Shields on how to get better at that. Hopefully she'll be able to receive this serve.
Yeah, number 5, serving.
Impressive save.
Looks like the Cavemen just weren't quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, that was really good save by Ford, but Shields just wasn't able to get there in time, and they couldn't recover.
I think Shields thought it hit the ground.
Oh, yes.
For us from here, it even looks like it might have.
Yeah, that's where communication would definitely come in handy.
Definitely. Number 5 serving over to Ford. Scalati bringing it over, hitting the Falcons' hands and going out of bounds. A point going over the Mishawaka. Looks like a little confusion from the ref.
Yeah, the officials were arguing two different sides. It looks like they got it figured out, and they gave Mishawaka the point.
Yeah. Number 1 going for the kill there, but being blocked by Lowry and Barthel.
You know, even when everything else can be a little shaky and inconsistent, the Cavemen always have that good wall.
Yeah. I know, I'm watching the up ref a little bit here, and she's not even calling everything out like the bottom ref is. Number 9. I thought, oh, they're calling the Cavemen out of bounds. I thought the Falcons were or not the Cavemen out of bounds. They called the Cavemen in the net, which I thought they called, that should have been on the Falcons, honestly. There's definitely a lot of confusion down on the court.
Definitely.
Number 10 for receive was received by Steinman. Barthel just bringing it over and barely saved by number 1. Number 1 bringing it over to Cassie Creech. They're going to call in the net for the Cavemen.
Yeah, it looks like the player that was in the net was trying to fake the Caveman out.
Yeah, they're calling that number 6 for Lowry. I gotta be honest, I didn't see that there. Yeah, some of these plays I've not quite been able to see. Number 10 bringing it back over to the Cavemen. Miscommunication from Simon and Ford. Barthel going for the kill and received by number 15, Creech, bringing it up. Adams just lightly, but not quite hard enough.
Mishawaka's had a lot of balls in the net recently.
Yeah.
And this, especially in this game, you didn't see that very often, but now
you know, sometimes
a few.
Those light touches are what you need. You just got to make sure it's enough to get it over the net. Cal Simon, I heard her from up here yelling that was going to be out of bounds, and it definitely was.
Yeah, definitely a good call.
Point. The Cavemen are 3 behind with Ellie Adams going for the serve.
Looks like Ford was coming out, but it looks like Coach Adams called off the sub.
Yeah. Okay, so
now
miscommunication
Ford.
there. I've been watching the refs. The refs said they needed to rotate, and then Ford was trying to switch with Amos, but then they had to wait, and Adams thought that whistle was them saying serve. All that miscommunication. Mishawaka getting the point with the Falcons setting it into the net. Wow, that was a lot happening.
Yes, there have definitely been a lot of calls made tonight.
Yeah, I know. I'm standing here next to our teacher, Matt Rendell, and he's trying to help me figure this out just as much as I'm trying to figure it out. Number 1, shanking the ball, sending it back into the stands.
You know, it's kind of like playing a game of charades here, trying to figure out all the hand movements from the refs.
Well, and I know a lot of the ref calls just from playing so many years myself, seeing the Cavemen play, having a lot of my friends play, and still sometimes you never know what happens.
It looks like, again, there's a bit of confusion.
The
serve was going to go to Mishawaka, but now John Glenn is getting it.
A little bit of discussion between Coach Adams and the ref.
Looks like Shields is going out and Barthel's coming in.
All right, so a little bit of insight here of what's going on because I really wasn't quite sure. We're having some issues with the subs. Coach Adams is going to call that a timeout just to kind of figure out those issues with the subs, hopefully get the team morale back together. We're going to go back to an ad so I can figure out what's going on here.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Okay, a little bit of insight what was going on there. I figured it out myself. When Amos tried to come in for the Cavemen, there was a little miscommunication there, and then they became out of rotation. So then the Falcons got the point because they're out of rotation. The Cavemen were not supposed to serve. We thought the whistle was the in. It was not. It was saying that the Cavemen were out of rotation and that it was the Falcons' ball. That probably didn't make much sense.
Moral of the story is, it is John Glenn's ball.
Yeah.
They're serving.
And make sure we are in rotation. There's some talk up at
Looks
the
like
box.
Coach Adams is rechecking her rotation.
Yeah, they're going to check rotation. The ref is over talking to the scorekeepers.
Yet more confusion.
Which is a very hard job, let me tell you. Now Scolati is coming in for Barthel.
Or not.
No. Scolati is coming in for... Okay. Scolati was coming in for Cal, and then Cal is going back in for Scolati? Anyways, who's on the court? Cal Simon, Ellie Adams, Alex Lowry, Megan Barthel, Amelia Amos, and Cassie Creature all on the court for Mishawaka. A lot of miscommunication there. Hopefully y'all heard that because I just talked very quickly. The Falcons are sending the ball over to Mishawaka. Adams with the ball. Amos getting the kill there, setting it right.
That was a powerful hit, and
Yeah.
John Glenn tried to get it, but they just couldn't get under it.
After all that communication, the Cavemen were coming back hard.
Definitely glad because all
Okay.
the frustration from the rotations.
And a few substitutions there. The libero coming in. And somebody else came in. I'm going to be honest here. I have no clue.
I believe
who.
Scolati came in.
Yes, I think you are correct. Number 10 bringing the ball up for number 7, who's bringing it over to Adams. Creed's going to bring the ball to Amos, going for a kill, but receives. But Shanks by number 2, the libero, Stackman, getting the Cavemen a point. The Cavemen are at 9. The Falcons are at 11.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with the Cavemen being able to recover like this, especially
that
after...
me off completely.
Yes. Especially after all the confusion from the messed up rotations, then the frustration that we could see from the team.
And I understand that frustration, but Amos with the block.
Mishawaka catching up to John Glenn now.
Yeah, it came in just down a point. They need 2 more points to bring that lead back. And Shields with her serve. Beautiful serve from Shields. Number 10 bringing it up for number 7. Received by Adams. Creech is barely going to get under that and bring it over to Amos. And the libero, number 2, is just going to pick that ball up, bringing it over from number 6. Adams getting the ball yet again for a tip, but blocked. Amos trying to bring that ball over, but blocked. Got through the wall. Adams receiving the ball from... Amos is going to go for the kill. Sending it, what are they going to call that? They're going to call that out of bounds. Point for the Falcons. The Cavemen are now down by 2. The score is 10-12.
Looks like Coach Adams was upset with that.
Yeah.
Believe that the point should have gone to Mishawaka.
I will say from here, it definitely looked out of bounds. Creech bringing that ball up for Amos, who brings it into the net on accident. You could definitely tell that was completely accidental.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess it always is.
Yeah.
Even more so today.
Yeah, another one in the net.
Creech setting the ball up for Scolati, barely saved by their libero. Adams is going to get the ball. Creech is going to just tip it over. Adams, beautiful dig there. Scolati going for the kill, received by number 1. Number 7, blocked by Scolati. Gently brought over, Lowry with the set. Scolati's going to attempt to bring it over, but it stops. Amos blocked by the Falcons yet again. Amos going for another and getting the point for the Cavemen. The score is now 11-13. The Cavemen down just by 2.
You know, that was a very long point, and I think winning that point definitely was a morale booster for Mishawaka, but also it
Absolutely.
was disappointing for John Glenn, so maybe Mishawaka will be able to get the upper hand on them. I know I've noticed a lot since the timeout that Mishawaka has been a lot more consistent and fluid with their receiving and setting and hitting.
Yeah, definitely. Impressive play from Mishawaka. Mishawaka getting the point now just under the Falcons by 1, hoping to bring it back.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of improvement and just more morale ever since just this last time out. They've kind of turned it around a bit.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to say it now. They're definitely going into a 5-set match tonight. And I know the Falcons coach was not looking to do that. Blocked by Scalati and Creech getting the ball. Little miscommunication there of what's going on. Okay, that is not a point for the Cavemen, it's a point for the Falcons. The Falcons are going to get the ball and serve. Number 4, Rhodes. Send the ball out of bounds, getting the point for the Cavemen inevitably. The Cavemen now down by 1, 13-14.
Once again down by 1. Seems they've been kind of trailing on John Glenn's trails this whole point.
Yeah. Creech sending the ball over to the Falcons. Blocked by Scalati. The Falcons getting a point.
Maybe, looks like Scalati might have been in the net?
No, Scalati hit the ball and sent it out of bounds.
Oh.
So they're calling that a touch and out of bounds. Creech dumping the ball. Barely caught by 4. How is that possible?
Impressive recovery from John Glenn there.
Lowry going to hit the ball, but blocked. The Cavemen bringing it back over to the Falcons. Setting it up, and the Falcons get the point. The Cavemen are now down by 3, trying to keep that energy there. They're definitely playing hard. They're playing aggressively. Adams not so happy about what she's seeing.
There were several impressive receives there where they're getting down straight to the floor in order to get it before it went out.
Ford's not quite under that and shanking it. That is definitely an issue for the Cavemen that I haven't quite noticed today, but I am going to bring it up because I've noticed it in past games. The Cavemen, especially when it comes to the services, you have to get under the ball. If you don't have your whole platform, your whole body under that ball, you're going to shank it just like we saw.
Especially since John Glenn, we've seen, has had a pretty impressive lineup of servers.
Lowry under the net yet again. She has, and that's what we're going to call that a 4-touch, not under the net. The Cavemen touched that 4 times. I'll definitely say from up here, I completely saw Lowry under that net. We're going to call that a timeout. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing my voice. A Mishawaka timeout. We're going to go to an ad break.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
All right, welcome back, Cavemen fans. We're here in the cave in the Mishawaka Varsity Girls Volleyball playing against John Glenn. John Glenn has the serve right now. Mishawaka's down 5 points, 13-18 in the second set.
Now Glenn sending that into the Cavemen, received by Shields. Adams is going to bring that up, but that receives. A lot of words all stuck in my mouth right now.
That was a very strong hit by John Glenn. I'm surprised Shields was able to get that.
Ford trying to save that ball, there just wasn't quite able to do that. Looks like she hit her head.
She seems to be okay now.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to have a substitution for the Cavemen. Ford is coming off, Amos coming on. Looks like might want to check up on Ford. She seems fine.
You got to be careful with those concussions, you know.
Yeah.
Ball shanks, but Amos able to get it, bringing it back over to the Falcons. blocked by Adams and Scolati getting the point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen is now bringing the score to 15-19.
Another impressive block by the Cavemen.
Sorry, let me correct that. 14-19.
Looks like Scolati's coming off. And Steinman's coming on to serve.
Steinman bringing the ball in. Looks like that could have been a lift from the Falcons. Didn't call it. Amos going for the ball, but unfortunately not able to get it. The Falcons will get that point. And that brings the Falcons, so they only need 5 more points to win the set.
Yeah, Cavemen trailing by 6. They were caught up there for a little bit, but now they're falling behind.
Yeah, number 10 bringing the ball in to receive. That was a good receive from Steinman. Just no one was quite able to get there. Just to recap, the Falcons only need 4 points to win the set. The Cavemen definitely got to catch up there.
Yeah, if they can get this set, that'll be 2 sets, and they only have to win 1 more to win the game.
The Cavemen need 7 more points to even tie up with them. Hopefully the Cavemen can get quite a bit miscommunication there for the Falcons.
Yeah, it looks like there's a collision on the John Glenn side.
Lowry bringing that ball over to the Falcons, but receives. Number 1 is going to bring that ball over and out. The Cavemen get the Falcons in the point. They're going to.
No, Cavemen did get that point, and now it's going to be.
The Cavemen did get that point.
Our serve, Adams.
Yeah, at first, the refs called it the Falcons' point, and then it was overturned by the top ref. And the Falcons send the ball out of bounds. The Cavemen.
Strong serve by Adams.
Yeah.
Glenn just wasn't prepared for that and ended up shanking it.
The Cavemen bringing that ball to 16-21. Adams bringing the ball in for the Cavemen. Falcons are going to receive that just barely. Number 1 bringing that ball up and over.
Powerful hit and an impressive receive from Adams.
Number 10 is going to set that ball up for number 14, who sends it over the Cassie Creech. Adams is going to set that up for Lowry. Lowry's going to tip it over. Amos trying to bring that ball over to get that point for the Cavemen.
Looks like the ball might have gone out if Glenn hadn't gotten it, but they did, and they got it over.
Number 1 going in for the kill. And get it.
That was a series of really impressive hits from John Glenn, and for the most part, Mishawaka was able to hold their own, but after a while, they just got worn down, and one of those hits stuck their mark.
Yeah.
And Mishawaka just wasn't able to get it.
Definitely. Number 1, Stevens is going to bring that ball in for the Falcons. Creed trying to pull that ball in the net. And Adams seems to shank the ball and not quite able to get it. I can tell Adams is getting tired. So is many other players on the court. The Falcons need 2 more points to win the set.
Number 1, that's Vivian Stevens serving. She's the
going with the jump serve there. Number 10 bringing that ball up, and the Cavemen able to take that right back down, getting a point for the Cavemen.
It's a good thing they were able to get that serve away from Stevens, especially since she was a standout player. I know we were looking at stats on Max Prep's sports website, and we were talking to the coach before the game, and she said Stevens was definitely a player to look out for, that she's definitely performing well and that the Cavemen were going to struggle against.
And we've noticed that for sure. Number 1, Stevens able to get that ball. The Cavemen blocking it, getting the point.
Again, that block coming, that wall coming through for the Cavemen.
And just a reminder for everyone watching, the Falcons need 2 more points to win the set. Number 8 bringing that ball over and received by Lowry. Amos getting the point for the Cavemen.
Amos, that was an impressive hit and then incredibly fast recovery in order to tip that over right after.
Absolutely. We're going to watch this replay real fast of Amos's incredibly fast reflexes. We are going to go over and take an ad break and hear from our sponsors.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Welcome back to the Cave. Right now on your screen, folks, you see the Mishawaka varsity football. Well, some people are varsity, but the Mishawaka varsity football team getting ready to face the Penn Kingsmen tomorrow in the backyard brawl. Be there or be square. It is the game of the year.
It's definitely an event many are looking forward to.
Yes, bring it back to volleyball. The Falcons bringing that ball over and received by Ellie Adams. Amelia Amos bringing it over, almost finding that hole. It's not quite able to. Lowry's going to receive that ball for Creech to set up. Amos is just going to tip it over, barely recovered.
Surprised they didn't call a double hit on number 6.
Creech trying to make something happen there, wasn't quite able to. She's going to bring the ball up for Amos, who's going to get the point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen are now just 2-3 under the Falcons. They need 5 more points to win the set. The Falcons just need 2. Let's see what happens.
Lowry's been a strong server, consistent for the Cavemen.
Definitely. Number 8 is going to bring that ball over to Ellie Adams. Creech is going to set it up for Amos, going for one of those and received. Blocked by the Cavemen. Amos is going to try to bring it over. They're calling that in right on the line. Actually, they're going to call that a touch. I don't know if I saw a touch there. Either way, the Cavemen are getting that point. They are 2 behind.
Yeah, Amos has been very good with her hits are very strong, but they're also very well placed. Absolutely. A lot of them have gone very close to the lines, which is where you want them to be so that the players kind of second guess themselves.
Yeah, I like how you worded that, Kira. Lowry, a little bit of miscommunication there, but able to bring it back over to the Falcons. Barthel trying to block it, hitting Adams' foot. It is now set point. Everyone on the floor is getting so excited for the Falcons. Cavemen just needing to keep that morale up. Number 2, Stackman to serve. And again, this is the set point. Adams, strong platform there.
Back row hit by Adams.
Lowry bringing that ball up to be received by Adams. Amos is going to bring it over. Again, one of those powerful hits. Adams receiving the ball. Creech dumping it over. But brought back over to the Cavemen. Cavemen are bringing it up, and Amos is getting blocked. But the Cavemen get the point. It is 22-24. The score is getting close, Kira. We're going to play a replay just to see what happened there. Amos bringing that ball over and out of bounds.
Looks like John Glenn really dove for that ball, but they just weren't able to get there in time.
Yeah, even going under the net.
Yeah.
Shields with her serve for the Cavemen.
Again, always low to the net.
Shaking it all, getting another point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen need 2 more to win their first set of the night, but Glenn just needs 1 more. The Cavemen are bringing it back. Let's see if they can bring it back all the way.
Shields is definitely a very good server for Mishawaka.
In the words of Mr. Worldwide himself, we're bringing it back. Shields bringing that ball over for the Cavemen. Amos bringing that ball over, but received. Number 8's going to try to bring it over, but Adams stops it. Squatty attempting to get that point with that tip there, just not quite able to get it. Creech is going to bring it back over and get a point for the Cavemen.
It is now tied 24-24.
Game now.
Next point wins the second set.
Yeah, we're going to show a replay real fast what happened. That ball came over the Creech, and she just brought it right back over. Anything can happen here in the Cave, and while that anything can happen, anything that can happen is an ad break. So let's hit an ad break, folks.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to the cave. We are just here ending the second set soon, hopefully. It is anyone's game at this point. The Cavemen or the Falcons just need 1 point to get this set. Shields bringing the ball in for the Falcons. Falcons bringing it over, received by number 13. Scolati bringing it up, but received by the libero, number 2, Stackman. Creech trying to bring that ball over. And out of bounds, that's the Cavemen's first set. John Glenn now has one, and so does the Mishawaka Cavemen. It is genuinely anybody's game at this point. We're going to keep playing.
One more point for Mishawaka, and they will win this set.
Getting a little excited here. And there's the Cavemen's second point at 26-24. And that is the end of the set. We're going to show a replay here of what happened. You can see the Falcons try to bring that ball up, and the Cavemen are able to stop it, bring it right back down to the Falcons.
It is now tied 1-1. Third set will be coming shortly.
And we are going to go to an ad break.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to the cave. Your Mishawaka Cavemen are playing the John Glenn Falcons. It's tied right now 1-1. We're going into our third set. It looks like everyone's getting set up. The teams regrouped and the music is hyping everyone up.
Absolutely. I don't know about you, but I'm hyped.
We were singing along during the break. Got some good music, good playlist going.
Even right now, it's a Cooper Shuffle. I'm feeling it, Kira. I don't know about you. You know, speaking of music, We have homecoming coming up. Are you going?
I am not. I'm not a big dance person.
Oh, yeah. But speaking of the Keep It Shuffle, we got these little kids up in the stands dancing. Some moms dancing in the stands. Everybody's out here having fun.
Always great to see, because, sports, it's great to win, but
Yeah.
it's also about having fun and enjoying
Absolutely.
yourself.
He doesn't know it, but me, Max Dubé, and Emma Mackinnon are all going to go together.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and that is the first point of set 3 for the Mishawaka Cavemen. If you have not been here and you're just now tuning in, John Glenn has 1 set, and so does Mishawaka. They need 2 more sets to win, so this is at least going to go in the 4 sets, if not 5. Cavemen keeping the ball going, and Amos sending it back over to the Falcons. Almost blocks, but not quite by the Cavemen. Number 8's going to bring that ball up and over. Adams saving it. John Glenn sent that ball out of bounds, but the Cavemen touched it, so they're going to keep it.
Another call tonight. I remember in the first and second sets, there were a lot more calls than normal in a game, and it looks like it's going to continue for the rest of the game. Number 14 serving for John Glenn. Received by Lowry. Goes straight over.
They're going to call it a Caveman point. Bringing their second point onto the board. Kira, I got to be honest. I'm seeing the ref call touches. I'm not seeing all of them.
Yeah, they're definitely...
I'm not seeing a lot of them.
Definitely being very... I don't know how to say it. Very prone to calling things
They might
tonight.
Look, they're a lot more observant than I am, so who knows. But there is another Mishawaka point. That brings their lead up by 2.
Definitely good for the Mishawaka Cavemen to have Creech serving for them right now. She's very reliable server. Hopefully she'll be able to get them a good lead to get them off to the set.
Yeah, Creech is going to go start serving for the Cavemen. And getting another point for the Cavemen, bringing their lead up by 3. Cavemen getting some excitement there. Creech is going to serve yet again for the Cavemen. It's strong there. You can definitely hear that ball. 14 sending it up for number 9. He's bringing it over and out. The Cavemen did definitely touch that ball there. That is going to be a Falcons point.
That was a very impressive hit by the Falcons, especially because when that ball comes down really close to the net, it's really hard to be able to get a good angle on it.
Creech bringing the ball up for Lowry, who's going to get blocked. Oh, and I'm doing it too now. The Falcons trying their best to keep that going, not quite able to do it. I almost said the Eagles.
Yes.
We got it written down on our paper, which isn't even in front of me. Last time we were here in the cave, the Cavemen did beat the Eagles.
They did. Hopefully, they'll beat the Falcons tonight.
The Cavemen always defeat those birds, huh? Cal setting the ball up for Adams.
And it goes in the net. Another net for Cavemen.
Unfortunately, the consistency just hasn't quite been there tonight. Number 7, Kirkland Miller is going to bring the ball over the Steinman, who had a little bit of trouble setting that there.
Good point by the Cavemen. Once again, found that spot and were able to hit
And
it.
there's going to be a sub over on the Falcons side. Number 5 is going to come in for number 7.
It looks like on Mishawaka, Ford's coming out for Amos.
And Adams will have the serve for the Cavemen. A little bit of an update here on why you haven't seen Soren Scalati on the court. It seems that she went with the trainer hopefully she'll be back in the game this game.
Yeah, definitely. She's a very important part of our front row. She has a lot of successful hits, dumps, and especially her blocks.
Yeah, she has a lot of height there.
Important.
Looks like she's coming back, maybe with a pulled muscle, a little wrapped up around her leg.
Definitely don't want her getting injured, especially this early in the season.
Although she's jumping around on it. Although I can see she has an ace bandage around her waist. Seems like a little bit of maybe a hamstring pull there. But she doesn't seem to be in pain. She seems to still be her happy-go-lucky self. Adams bringing the ball over for the Falcons, shanking the ball, getting a Caveman point.
A lot of support for the Cavemen on the sidelines. JV team getting hyped up.
Love to see it. The Cavemen extending their lead by 5. Adams is going to come in with another serve towards the Falcons. And that will be a Falcons point from Kennedy Miller. One of the girls who are not a Miller sister come in with the kill.
Looks like Steinman tried to get that ball, but she just kind of got caught on her own feet and wasn't able to get there.
You know what? That definitely happens. Number 10 bringing that ball in for the Cavemen. Amos almost getting there, but Falcons able to save himself. Lowry's going to bring the ball over. It's going to come back to the Cavemen. They're going to call that a Caveman ball. The Falcons sending it out of bounds. The Cavemen are now up by 5.
That was good communication by the Cavemen, especially when the ball is so close to the line like that. You really have to be talking to each other to make sure that you don't end up accidentally giving the other team a point by touching that.
You know what? It's happened before. Won't stop. Number 4, Ann Rose, trying to make something happen to that ball. Instead of hitting her platform, it hit her chest and just kind of fell. That is a timeout from Glenn. We're going to go to an ad break so we can recollect here.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
We are back in the cave with the third set. The Cavemen currently leading 11-5. The Falcons trying to make something happen. We'll see what happens.
Third set, they're both tied, so this is going to be a tiebreaker.
Lowry coming in with the serve, sending it into the net. The Falcons gaining a point.
Mishawaka is still leading by 5 points, 11-6.
It looks like it'll be standout senior Vivian Stevens with the serve. Received by Cal Simon, brought up by Creech. Barthel's going to bring it over, but it's received by number 10. Number 14 is going to bring it over to Adams. Creech sending it to Amos, able to find that spot in the defense, getting a point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen will extend their lead, bringing the score 12-6. Replay there what happened. Amos able to bring that ball in. Looks like Glenn just watched the ball drop.
Yeah. Scolati is back in the game, thank goodness, and Shields is back in too and serving. Looks like that serve went out though, so it's gonna go to Glenn.
Number 2, libero Trinity Stackman, serving the ball for John Glenn. Lowry receiving the ball. Creech is going to bring the ball over to be received by number 1, Stevens. The Cavemen blocking the ball, and it's going to be sent out of bounds, getting the Cavemen points. Amos with the serve. Received by number 14. Number 10 is going to bring it up, and looks like accidentally went over to the Cavemen. They are going to say that she had 2 touches, giving the Cavemen another point. The Cavemen are up by 7.
This is a strong lead for them, especially since the first 2 sets were pretty close. So hopefully they'll be able to hold this lead and pull through.
Able to save that ball. Adams sending it over. Blocked by the Cavemen, and the Cavemen get the point. Looks like the ball dropped right in front of some of the Glen.
Yeah, number 7, she was right there, but she just was not prepared for that ball to come at her.
Yeah. Number 2, the libero, receiving the ball for Glen. Amos shaking the ball, but able to be received by Shields. Creech is just going to send that over. Number 10, receiving it from Creech. Number 8, bringing that over and up by Amos. Adams going for the kill, but being received. Number 8 is going to bring that over. Adams again is going to get that. Barely saved by number 14. It's going to keep going. Lowry going for the kill, but blocks as the Falcons send that out of bounds. The Cavemen extending their lead by 1.
That was a long point, but it was full of a lot of impressive recoveries from both teams.
Yeah, there in the replay, you could see Creech sent the ball over to Lowry. Lowry sent it over to Glenn, and those blockers just put it right out of bounds. Not even on purpose.
17-7, Mishawaka currently up by 10. Just need 8 more points to win the set.
Amos getting another serve. We need a serve counter here for this girl. She's on fire right now. Creech bringing the ball up for Lowry, who's going to be blocked, but still brings it over. The Cavemen getting another point.
You know, you mentioned that Amos is a strong server, and I think something that definitely helps is that she, in the front row, is a very strong hitter, and that transfers definitely into serving. But we called timeout, and so now we're going to head into a commercial.
Yeah, just a quick recap before we do that. The Cavemen are up 18-7. Like she said, with 40 seconds on the clock, we're going to head it into an ad break.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Welcome back to the Cave. The Mishawaka Cavemen are playing John Glenn. Currently in the 3rd set, Mishawaka is up 18-7. They are currently tied 1 set for Mishawaka, 1 set for John Glenn. Let's see if Mishawaka can pull through and win this one.
Yeah, the timeout from Glenn attempting to throw off Amos. Not quite able to do that. She is still going on fire. Another Caveman point. Amos is going for another serve. Seriously, we need to keep a serve counter on this girl. She is on fire.
Amos definitely has a strong hitting arm.
Yeah, Scalati sending that ball over and getting another point for Caveman. The Caveman need 5 more points to win the set. We're going to show a replay of that. Scalati sending the ball over, getting received by 10, but shakes. That's what we're looking for.
The Cavemen need 5 more points to win, and Amos might just get those.
Another point for the Cavemen. 4 more points so they win. The girls are still going. We're playing a replay here.
Another impressive block by the Cavemen.
Amos with another serve. The Cavemen still going. That is a John Glenn point because of a touch.
Looks like there's been some confusion among the officials tonight.
Yeah.
Amos is going out after that serve streak, and Ford is coming in.
I know quite a few of you are probably wondering why I'm pausing in between calls. Sometimes I just got to sit here and watch the rest just because so many things are happening. Speaking of so many things happening, Glenn getting another point. The Cavemen still in a lead, 21-9. Number 14, Addie Mannering. Received by Lowry. Creech is going to bring it up over the Adams. Keeping it going. The Cavemen get another point, 3 more points till they win the sets.
Looks like John Glenn is getting a bit frustrated here, rightfully so. They've lost a lot of points, and it was a little bit close, but Mishawaka's been able to blow them out of the water.
Yeah. Creech bringing that ball over to Glenn, received by... Bring that ball over, Creech is going to keep it going. Adams just lightly touching that ball, keeping it going. Creech throwing that way back there. Scolati's going to get the block. Ford trying to keep it going, not quite able to get there. The score is now 22-10. Just to recap, the Cavemen need 3 more points to win the set.
The Cavemen have definitely seemed a lot more enthusiastic and a lot more motivated, especially with their current winning streak.
Adams receiving the ball. Creech is going to bring it up for Scolati, going for the kill. Number 9 is going to bring it over, but blocked by the Cavemen. The Cavemen get another point. 2 more points, so the Cavemen win the set.
Looks like we're going to be making some subs, and Barthel and Steinman are coming in. Barthel, the only sophomore and the only underclassman on the team. Let's see how she performs.
Simon bring that ball over. Number 14 barely just getting there, able to bring it over. And that is going to be a 4-touch for the Falcons. The Cavemen get another point. This is a set point for the Cavemen.
Steinman serving. Let's see if she's able to stay consistent.
And she is saved by number 2. Number 1's going to bring it over and out. That is set point for the Cavemen. We have 3 minutes until the next set. Just to recap, the Cavemen now have 2 sets. The Falcons have 1, and we're going to hit an ad break.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte. Fix it for good.
All right, welcome back to the cave. As you can see, we're playing Baby Shark, and we're getting hyped up. You know, it's an oldie, but it's a goodie.
You know what? Was it here that we just heard a beat and we're dancing and it was Baby Shark?
Yes, it was. You know,
Yeah,
you're
that
never
was
too old
last
for
game.
Baby Shark.
Absolutely
I don't care who
not.
you ask.
You know what? I still watch Bluey sometimes.
I know my little cousin in Manchester loves Baby Shark and is obsessed with it, and that's why his parents are sick of it.
You know what? Fair enough.
Anyways, we are in the fourth set.
Yes, correct.
Fourth set. Mishawaka 1-2, John Glenn's 1-1.
Amos bringing that ball over and getting a point for the Cavemen. First one on the board in the fourth set. Now let me just reiterate for the people who have not been tuning in, doesn't really know volleyball rules. If the Cavemen win the set, they win the game. Amos serving the ball into the net.
She was surprising, seeing as last set she had an amazing serving streak that got Mishawaka way up the board and helped them secure that win. Anyways, Amos is coming out and Ford's coming in for her.
Lowry's going to receive the ball for the Cavemen. Scalati bringing that over and blocks. Shields, low miscommunication there, getting that ball and keeping it going for the Cavemen. And there is 4 touches from the Cavemen. The Falcons are going to get that point. Number 8, serving the ball for the Cavemen, received by Shields. Scotty's going to bring that over and just barely caught by the Falcons.
Looks like number 9 was doing the splits there.
Yeah, but the Cavemen are ultimately going to get that point, now tying up the score at 2-2. We're going to play a quick replay of what happened there. Creech getting that ball up for Scalati and shanked by number 2, Stackman. Cassie Creech is going to start with her serve here.
Definitely got off on a rocky start for the Cavemen, but they've managed to recover and really have been doing well so far.
Yeah, number 1 bringing that ball over and blocked by Scalati. She's going to attempt to bring that ball over again, but blocked by Lowry and Scalati yet again, giving the Cavemen another point. Growing the Cavemen lead by 1. The score is now 3-2 in the fourth set.
Yeah, that Caveman wall is just unbreakable.
Creech serving again for the Cavemen. Number 14 is going to bring that ball up and over, tying the score up 3-3.
Looks like Ford really dove for that, but yeah, as you can see here, powerful hit, and Ford dove, but she just wasn't able to get there.
Number 7 serving the ball for the Falcons. Ford on the ground trying to get that ball.
Looks like she just wasn't able to pop it up enough for
No, not
her
quite.
teammates to get it.
But that's the kind of initiative we need to see throughout this set. You know, going and getting that ball. Even if you're not able to do anything with it, just keep going. They got this. They just got to lock in. Creech, again, showing that initiative. Running as fast as she can and not quite able to get that. Number 7, Kirkland Miller going for another serve.
Amos is coming in for Ford.
Number 7 bringing that ball over to Shields. Lowry going for the kill, but ultimately received. Falcons almost not being able to do anything with it. And bringing it back over to the Caitlin.
That was 2 impressive hits in a row
absolutely.
by Lowry. The last one hitting its mark. Looks like Steinman is going to be coming in for Scalati. And is going to be serving.
Simon, a strong server on the Caveman squad. Bringing that ball over to number 4 to be received. 14, the setter, setting it up. Unfortunately, Creech not quite able to do anything with that. The score is now 4-6. The Falcons currently up.
It's like John Glenn is going to sub and Platt is going to be serving.
Yeah, number 10, Platt, serving the ball. Adams bringing it up. Serve receiving. Almost hitting Brabender, the line judge. The Falcons will get that point.
Lowry was attempting to get another killer hit on that, but she put a little bit too much power on it.
Yeah, now let me just remind you for the viewers who have not been watching, sure you can see it on the scoreboard, at the very bottom of the scoreboard. This is 1-2. That means the Cavemen have won 2 sets, the Falcons have won 1. If the Cavemen win this set, they will be taking home the victory tonight. Or keeping that victory at home, should I say. Number 1, Stevens setting that ball into the net, causing the Cavemen to get a point.
Mishawaka trailing by 2 points, currently 5-7. Looks like Adams is going to be serving.
Yeah, Allie Adams serving the ball.
And into the net.
Unfortunately, into the net. That would be correct, Kira. Adams has one of the highest serving percentages on the team, too. So you don't quite often see her send that into the net. But again, there is that once in a while that it does happen.
Yeah, and the pressure might just be getting to her.
Tynan with that pretty cool receive there. Send that ball over, a little bit of confusion. Able to get that ball back over to the Cavemen. Lowry goes in, gets blocked and sent back over to the Cavemen. Amos is going to send it over from the back row. And the Falcons aren't going to be able to do anything with it. Getting the Cavemen a point. The score is now 6-8. Mishawaka 2 behind.
It was an impressive dive by Stevens on John Glenn for that ball.
Lowry's going to serve the ball this time. Number 10 thinking she was going to get that. And it added up that number 13, Amos, ended up touching the ball twice.
It's been a very tight game so far. Glenn winning the first set, Mishawaka winning the second, and then the third, but now Mishawaka's trailing by 3 points in the fourth set to Glenn.
Amos sent that ball over with a lot of power, almost into the bench, but not quite. Bringing that ball back over to the Cavemen. Adams receives the ball. Amos bringing it back over to the Falcons. It's going to hit the basketball hoop, but they're going to keep it going. Number 10 going to bring it back over to the Cavemen. Creech is going to set it up for Lowry. Lowry going for the kill and received by number 10. Number 14 is going to bring it over and sent into the Cavemen bench.
Yeah, I'd just like to take a minute to point out that Amos has been performing very well this game. She's been having a lot of strong hits and strong serves that have really been crucial to Mishawaka in this game.
Yeah, number 2. Caveman, quick reflexes, able to get that ball and keep it going. Amos with a 2-touch for the Cavemen, setting the point to the Falcons.
Mishawaka now trailing by 5. Timeout called.
Timeout called by the Cavemen. The score is now 6-11. The Cavemen down by 5. Hopefully the Cavemen can get it back out there with that energy. And we're going to go over to an ad break.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
Well, we have a few seconds here during this timeout. We're going to quickly talk about the broadcast we have coming up Our next broadcast is exactly a week from today. We will be back in the cave. Kira and I will be here announcing the game against Penn, a tough competition for Mishawaka, a backyard brawl, you might as well say.
Yeah, they're definitely fierce rivals. I know we sent out a survey to some of the players, and
quite a few of them.
Yeah, and Shields, Adams both mentioned that one of their main goals this season was to beat Penn.
Yeah, you know, we're seeing the Cavemen down by 6 right now. Hopefully they can keep that up. Speaking of broadcast, we're going to go on to our next broadcast that we have. Our next broadcast will be the day after that, and it will be our varsity football game. You'll hear Daniel Phillips and our teacher, Mr. Rendell, on the call for that, and it is against the Concord Minutemen in our first NLC matchup for the varsity football team.
It'll definitely be a very big game, and I know a lot of the students and parents show up, and we really represent at Mishawaka. You'll see that section filled.
Well, since we're done talking about football, we are very focused on volleyball right now. Let's get back to volleyball. The score is currently 7-12. Shields just served the ball. It got sent over to the Falcons and out of bounds. The Cavemen are going to get that point. It is now 8-12. The Cavemen following by 3. Hopefully they can get there.
Yeah, and that ball is in play until it touches the ground. So you'll see some of the people on the sidelines clearing away because these players are very determined to go and grab that ball.
Falcons spinning that ball and almost not able to save it. Amos is going to go and get the ball blocked by number 14, adding Mannering, and number 7, Kirkland Miller. Cavemen not quite able to do anything with that, unfortunately.
Yeah, Amos has a very strong hit, but if there's a solid wall in front of her, that strong hit works against the team, actually, and ends up making it so that the ball just fires back way too quick for them to respond.
Speaking of the ball firing back way too fast, Creech with a dump, getting a point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen are still trailing.
It's like Amos is going to be serving. She's had a very good night serving, so hopefully she can keep that up.
Yeah, the Cavemen are down by 4. We gotta get another one here. Number 8 bring the ball over to Amos. And Amos is pretty frustrated by that. She's just gonna bring the ball over to the Falcons. The Falcons number 14 is gonna set it up, and it's gonna go back over to the Cavemen, and it's gonna go out of bounds. The Falcons getting that point. You know, Kira, I feel like I sound like an auctioneer right now. $100, anybody going once, going twice, $100, $100, $200.
Definitely gotta talk fast. Keep up with the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
This game goes fast.
I can hear Mr. Randall, our teacher, laughing at me right now. You know, gotta keep the jokes going. I hope you fans enjoy it. Creech is gonna send that ball over to the Falcons. Falcons are gonna send it back, getting the Falcons a point. Number 4, Ann Rhodes, a senior at John Glenn High School. Adams is going to send the ball over. A lot of power there, but not quite able to do anything with that. The Cavemen are going to have the ball come back to their side, but go out of bounds, giving the Cavemen a point. The Cavemen are now down by 5. They're gaining that lead back. Hopefully they're going to gain that lead back.
Yeah, that was a big hit by Stevens on John Glenn, but she wasn't quite able to keep it in.
Creech is going to serve the ball over. Mixing up my terms here, Kira. Creech is shaking the ball, and the Cavemen are trying to do something with it. Unfortunately, Ford lands on the ball. Not really what you want to do. That keeps the ball down instead of lifting it back up. Number 7, Kirkland Miller with the ball. Adams is going to bring that ball back over to the Falcons. Creech keeping the ball in the game. Setting it up for Adams, who's going to keep, again, it's going to keep going. She's trying to do something with that, not quite able to do anything with it. The Falcons are going to get another point. The Cavemen are now down by 7 points.
Yeah, it looks like Adams was looking to smack the ball, but she wasn't quite able to get a hand on it and just took her off guard.
We're going to pause for a moment. We're Cassie Creech side of the shoe. Okay, we're back going. Number 7, Kirkland Miller is going to keep it going. Creech getting that ball up for Scalati to bring it over. Number 14 is going to set the ball up for number 1, Stevens. The Cavemen able to get there just in time. Adams can pancake it. Adams is going to keep the ball over, get it sent over to the Falcons. Falcons are bringing it back over to the Cavemen. Creech not quite able to get there again, landing on the ball. The Falcons are now up by 8. The Falcons bench going crazy. And we're going to pause that and go over to the Cavemen. The score is currently 10-8. The Cavemen are down by 8. They need to get 9 more to get that lead. We're going to go over to an ad break, and we'll be right back.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together, proud to keep education in. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together, proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Welcome back to the Cave. Mishawaka Cavemen are playing the John Glenn Falcons. We are currently in the 4th set.
The Cavemen trailing by 8. Falcons are going to keep that ball going, send it back over to the Cavemen. Adams is bringing that ball over and unfortunately out, getting another point for the Falcons. Falcons are now up by 9. Looks like this might be a 5-set game, which I know the coach over there, Katie Simmons, was not quite looking for that to happen.
Yeah, this has been a very tight game so far.
Yeah, Lauer bringing that ball over and received by number 7. Number 1, Stevens bringing that ball over the forward. Creech is going to set it up for Adams, and she brings it back over. Inbounds and a point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen are now behind by 8, shrinking that lead more and more.
It's like Barthel's coming in for Shields, and Steinman's coming in for Scolati. And it looks like Steinman's going to be serving.
Which, for anyone confused on, why that can happen, why can the libero just go out? Honestly, I don't know. That's just the rules of volleyball. The libero can sub out at any time. It doesn't have to be an official sub. And it can't be an official sub. That is going to be a point for the Cavemen. The Cavemen 12-19. And Callahan Steinman with the serve. Number 14, almost missing that ball there. Cal is going to touch it and send it out of bounds. The Falcons getting a point. The Cavemen are 8 points behind.
Yeah, it looks like Steinman did get a touch on it, but she wasn't quite able to grab it.
The Falcons, 5 more points total winning the second, their second set. Ellie Adams receiving the ball for the Cavemen. Lauer bringing the ball over, received by number 10. The Cavemen not quite able to get to that ball. Getting another point.
Ford took a good dive at it, but wasn't able to get there.
Number 10, Platts bringing that ball over. Adams almost not getting there, but ending up getting there.
Cassie Creech right there to dig the ball out of the net.
A little fake out from number 6 and number 1 there.
Strong hit from
Stevens,
Lowry.
another strong hit. Ford shanking the ball, sending that out of bounds. The Falcons just need 3 more points to win the set.
Yeah, Ford just wasn't quite able to get under that ball. And it looks like Coach Adams is subbing her out for Amos.
I can't lie to you, Kira. I'm feeling that, caffeine crash right now. Good. I bet the Cavemen are too. Not much communication going on there. Just handing a point over to the Cavemen.
I know the Cavemen might be starting to feel a little bit tired right now, but this is the crucial time where they got to pull themselves together and get this victory.
Adams serving over to the Falcon. Creech getting that ball for Adams to set it up. He's going to send it over to Amos. Is going to serve. who's going to send it into the net. The Falcons just needing 2 more points to win their second set of the night.
Hate to say it, folks, but it looks like we're going to be going into a 5th set.
Not my favorite nights, I gotta be honest. But any day that we can watch the Cavemen is a good day, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
The Cavemen send that ball out of bounds. It is set points for the Falcons. Stevens with another serve for tonight. Stevens send that ball over to the Cavemen, received by Lowry, bringing it up nice and high for Creech. Amos is going to bring it over, and the blockers aren't going to be able to do anything with it. The Cavemen are still trailing by 10, need to get it up just a little bit.
Yeah, when the ball comes flying at you like that, especially when it's going straight from a hitter to someone in the front row, it's a lot of force, and it may not seem like it, but it comes
damaging.
in fast.
Yeah. Number 8 attempting to bring it over, but into the net. The Cavemen getting another point, 15-24. Again, it's still set point for the Falcons. Hopefully Lowry can do something about it.
Looks like John Glenn's getting a little relaxed here. They may need to tighten up their game.
Speaking of getting relaxed, you can see her platform was very relaxed there, and she even knew it.
Yeah, you can see the grin on her face as soon as she hit that ball. She just wasn't ready for it, and Falcons need to be careful that they don't give this set away.
Well, Falcons sending that ball out of bounds. Like you said, getting relaxed. The score getting tighter and tighter, 17-24. Timeout, the Falcons hoping to throw off the Cavemen. Just to recap, the score is 17-24. The Falcons have the set point. The Cavemen need 1 more set to win. The Falcons need 2. We're going to go over to an ad break in the meantime.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte, fix it for good.
We're back at the cave. The Mishawaka Cavemen are playing the John Glenn Falcons. The score is currently 17-24. Set point for John Glenn. If they win this, they win the set.
14 bring that ball over quickly to the Cavemen. Amos is going to go for the hit, and it's going to keep going with the Falcons. Ace going to bring it over to be received by Simon, who shakes it, and that is the set for the Falcons. The Cavemen currently have 2 sets. The Falcons currently have 2 sets.
So we're going to head to a 5th tiebreaker set. Whoever wins this wins the game.
And this set, the winner only needs to go to 15 points with a 2-point gap. So if it's 14-15, they got to keep going for another point to see if they can go to 16-14. It's very confusing, I know, but we're going to go to an ad break. And we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
All right, and we're back at the cave playing John Glenn. There's a lot of hyping up with the music. There's some kids dancing up there, as you can see now on the screen. Getting hyped up for this fifth set, this tie-break set. Whoever wins this will win the game. So it's going to be a very exciting set. I believe this only goes to 15 points.
You would believe correctly, Kira.
Lucky for you guys, you listeners, you don't have to hear our voices for too much longer.
They love us.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Especially Mr. Ebright. Shout out, Mr. Ebright.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ebright, our #1 fan.
If he's not watching, that's going to be awkward. Mr. Ebright, you got to leave a comment. Let us know that you're there. Let us know that you're supporting. Amelia Amos with the first service at 5.
Smart choice having her serve. She's very strong, and she's been very consistent.
Yeah, there's a caveman point. The first one on the board is at 5.
This first point, it may just be a point, but it's one of the most important ones because it really sets the tone for the rest of the set.
Yeah, Amos was set number 2.
Really nice serve, just skimming the top of that net.
Number 8's going to bring that ball over to Caveman. Lowry is going to try to get it, and she did. And a Caveman point. The score is currently 2-0.
As you can see, you're getting a replay of that. They found that spot right in the middle. Another point for the Cavemen. Lowry serving again. She's been very good with her serves.
Number 14 going under the net. Oh, and they're calling that a 4-touch. It's going to be a timeout, and John Glenn will recuperate. Let's just keep it here during this break. Kira, it's been 4 sets so far. We talked about keeping that morale up, keeping things going. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think it's been a very tight game, and the Mishawaka Cavemen, when they can pull themselves together and really get that morale going, they really perform extremely well. But when they get a little pressure on and when that morale goes down, they can really just get blown out by the Falcons. And it looks like hopefully we're starting off good in this 5th set. The Cavemen look like they're feeling good. Their morale's up. Hopefully they'll be able to pull through.
Yeah, Hero, definitely well said. I will say a little bit of a teaser. Hopefully it happens. We're supposed to get an interview after the game. So we're going to, once the set ends, we're going to keep it going. Hopefully we can get an interview. I know these players are very busy, have their post-game rituals. And there is a point for John Glenn getting their first one on the board. They are trailing by 3. The Cavemen in the lead.
Forwards coming in for Amos. That was a strong hit by Adams, but it was also their downfall because it just came off that wall way too fast.
Yeah, number 14 is going to come in with that serve. Set it up for Scolati. 14 almost having it go right over her head. Number 8's going to bring it over to Shields. Creature's going to set it up for Adams, who almost gets it out and keeps it in. Shields keeps it going. Adams bringing it back over. Almost let go by number 2. Number 2 not quite able to get there with her ball. The Cavemen 5-1, 10 more points to win the set.
As you can see, lot of saves there, but looks like Mishawaka was just able to get the upper hand. Number 2 really went for that, but she just wasn't able to get it. Looks like Cassie's going to be serving, a very strong server for the Mishawaka Cavemen.
Number 9 getting that ball for the Falcons. Not quite able to bring it over. They're going to bring it out of bounds over the line. The Cavemen getting another point. The Cavemen are now up by 5. Cassie Creech with the serve for the Cavemen. Bringing it over to number 1, Stevens. Number 7's going to bring it over to the Cavemen, received by 4. Adams is going to go for the kill, sends it into the net, causing the Falcons to get a point. Falcons are now down by 4. Making that lead smaller and smaller.
It's definitely a lot of tension. It's a very close game. Both coaches are pacing at the side of the court.
Definitely stressful to watch, I get it. And the Cavemen are going to get another point. It is now 7-2.
Looks like we're going to be doing some subs. Barthel and Steinman are coming in. Steinman's going to be serving. She's had a pretty good serving night, so hopefully she'll be able to keep that up.
Yeah, definitely. Cal Steinman, a classmate of mine, a very determined, hard worker. Miscommunication from number 1 and number 14 on the Falcons side, but they're going to keep it going. Lowry sending that ball over and out of bounds to the Falcons, getting a point. It is now 7-3. The Falcons again making that lead smaller and smaller for the Cavemen.
Looks like there's a bit of miscommunication between the officials. One thought Mishawaka should have gotten the point. One thought John Glenn should have. Looks like John Glenn will get it though.
Number 7, Kirkland Miller. We've seen her name come up quite a few times tonight. Creech bringing that ball up for Lowry, who's going to go for the kill. Again, caught by 2 people, 7-14. Just need a little bit more communication there. Ford getting that ball, seems a little jumpy at it. Barthel trying to bring that ball down right on the other side of the net, but instead brings it into the net. The Cavemen now only up by 3. Their lead shrinking and shrinking. Number 7, Kirkland Miller brings it over and into the net. The Cavemen now up by 4. There's going to be a few subs here on the floor. Kirkland Miller is going to come out. And number 5, Gracie Wolf Winchell. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly.
And Amos came in for the Cavemen.
Yeah. Keeping that ball going on the Falcon side despite that little miscommunication there. Adams and Cal having, again, some more miscommunication. It seems that has happened a lot tonight, Kira, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of fumbles, and it's been kind of messy because of that.
Number 10, Platts is bringing that ball in for the Falcons. Amos bringing it over and getting a point for the Cavemen, getting their lead to 4.
Another example of Amos's strong hits. As you can see, she just slams that thing down onto the court, makes her a great server and a great hitter.
Lowry serving yet again.
Just able to get that up.
Touching it in the roof. That is, looks like there are 5 touches there, so they're going to call that a 4 touch, and that will be a Caveman point. The Cavemen now lead by 5, just needing 5 more to win the set. You know, Kira, I'm seeing some Raising Cane's ads. That sounds pretty good right now, I gotta be honest.
It does. It's been a long night.
Cal Simon diving for that ball, not quite able to get there. Might just have to go get me some Canes after this.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Or go to Hacienda and go get my employee discount.
Ooh.
That does sound pretty good. Actually, we're closed right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, they're closed in 30 minutes. It's 9:30. I was thinking it was 10 o'clock. Number 6 bringing the ball up for number 8. Lowry getting under it. Amos is going to bring it over. And they're going to call it a foretouch. The Falcons gaining that point.
It went another example of the into the net by Mishawaka. They've had quite a few of those, more so than usual.
Number 1 serving and sending it into the net. Even though the Cavemen are up, Coach Adams doesn't seem so happy about what she's seeing right now.
Yeah. Looks like Scolati and Shields are coming in. Shields is going to be serving. She has a very good serve, pretty close to the net. Other team hasn't done well receiving it.
Number 10 setting that ball up for looks like 6. Crafty Creature's gonna bring that ball up for Amos. Number 8 bringing it back over to the Cavemen. Annie Shields shanking it, but Allie Adams is able to save it.
Just able to get that over.
Creech, thank God where she was standing in a perfect spot for that. Amos bringing it over and received by Stevens. And finally, after a well-fought point, the Cavemen got it. It is 12-7. The Cavemen are up by 5. Up by 5.
It's a pretty shaky point there, but Mishawaka was able to pull through.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 8 bringing that ball over to the Cavemen. Right over their heads. Are they going to call that a touch? They are going to call that a touch. I don't know if she quite touched that. I think it was definitely close.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of contact there, but of course,
we don't always
final
see
decision.
Yeah.
And we can't see everything.
Trinity Stackman with the serve. Creech bringing that ball up for Scolati to bring it over. Scolati almost finding that hole, getting really close to it. Number 7 is going to bring it over to the Cavemen. Amos bringing it over and just received. If she wouldn't have gotten that, that might have gone out of bounds. Amos bringing that ball back over right in that left corner of the court. The Cavemen will get the point. The Cavemen need 2 more points.
You know, I have to say, if there was an MVP for this game, I think it might be Amos. Her serves and her powerful and precise hits have been crucial to Mishawaka.
Yeah, this has been a good night for Amos, let me say. Reset and bring the ball over for Adams. Creech is just going to dump it over. They're going to keep it going. Adams bringing that ball over to the Falcons. Falcons again, keeping it going. Creech getting that ball out of the net for Scolati, received by number 10. 14, Miller is going to bring it over as the Cavemen block doesn't quite work in their favor. 14, Addie Mannering. She looks pretty stressed over there down at the serving line, doesn't she?
Yeah, I would be too. Her team is trailing in the final set. That's a lot of pressure. Ooh, an impressive save by 14.
Creech bringing that ball up for Adams. She's going to get the point for the Cavemen. It is match point.
You can see here how powerful that hit was by Amos. John Glenn just had no hope.
It is match point for the Cavemen. Cassie Creech, is she going to be able to do it? And she does it! The Cavemen win after 5 long,
excruciating sets.
They win. I know you guys can't see it, but I see some of the football players talking to each other and getting excited. Happy that the Cavemen won.
It's definitely going to hype the football players up for their game tomorrow. Hopefully some of this morale can follow them.
Absolutely. We're going to go to a quick ad break while we get ready for this interview. Hopefully somebody comes up and finds us really soon. And we'll be back in just a few moments.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte. Fix it for good.
Some see a wrestling match. We see a 6-minute lesson in grit. Some see a coach sending a runner home. We see a mentor guiding a student athlete into the future. Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
Forte Waterproofing is celebrating over 60 years of satisfied customers. Experience, innovation, hard work, confidence, pride, honesty, integrity, determined, committed to achieve excellence. Fix it with Forte. Fix it for good.
Some see a volleyball match. We see a student athlete learning how to be poised under pressure. Some see a high school football stadium. We see the one place where the whole community comes together. Proud to keep education in front of athletics since 1903.
What an amazing, well-fought game from the Cavemen. I have libero Andy Shields next to me, and we're going to ask her a few questions about how the game went. All right, so first thing, how do you think you played? How do you think the team did?
I definitely think we could have done better, but that's always something we can improve on. We didn't have all of our 100%. A lot of us aren't feeling well, but it definitely is going to get better over the season.
Looking for things that can get better, what are some improvements that you think could be made?
Definitely our energy. It's a very mental sport, so I think our energy can stay high. When we get low, we stay low, but we somehow bring it back up every time. So
yeah, we're talking about energy, bringing it back up. How do you keep morale up? After a grueling 5-set game, scores getting pretty close to certain points. How do you keep that morale up?
It's really just encouraging each other, sticking with each other, encouraging each other. That's basically being there for each other and encouraging.
Well, you know what? That's what you need to do as a good teammate. Again, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
You guys did amazing. I'm Cam Stokes. Again, this is libero Andy Shields, and this is Mishawaka Sports.